The Never-Ending Trail. One evening, an elderly traveler arrived at the village, his face weathered by time, his eyes glimmering with knowledge. He had heard of Elias and sought to speak with him. "The trail is more than what you believe," the old man said. "It is not just a test of stubbornness, but of understanding. Did you truly learn all it had to offer?" Elias pondered the question. He had escaped. Yes, but had he truly uncovered the trail's mystery? Determined to find the deeper meaning, Elias prepared for another journey. This time, he brought not only supplies but also a newfound sense of awareness. As he stepped onto the path once more, he no longer sought to prove anything, only to learn. Days passed, and the trail behaved as before, looping him in its illusion of endlessness. But now, Elias did not rush. He observed. He listened. He noticed how the trees whispered not in menace, but in guidance. The shadows no longer threatened but pointed the way. Then, on the seventh day, he found something remarkable, a second engraving, hidden deeper within the forest. It read, "The end of the path is not ahead, nor behind, it is wherever you decide it to be." At that moment, Elias understood. The never-ending trail was never meant to be escaped, it was meant to be understood. Life, like the trail, was not about reaching an endpoint but about the wisdom gained along the journey. With peace in his heart, Elias walked back to the village, not as a man who had conquered the trail, but as one who had embraced it. And so, he spent the rest of his days sharing his newfound wisdom, ensuring that none would fear the never-ending trail again, but instead, see it for what it truly was, a path of self-discovery. The dense forest stretched as far as the eye could see, an emerald sea of trees swaying gently in the wind. It was the kind of place that felt untouched by time, a haven where nature ruled supreme. Within this vast expanse was a legendary trail known as the Never-Ending Trail, spoken of in hushed tones by villagers who lived at the forest's edge. According to legend, the Never-Ending Trail was a path that lured travelers in, never to be seen again. Some believed it was cursed, others thought it was enchanted, but all agreed that those who entered rarely found their way back. One young man, Elias, had grown up hearing these stories, yet he never believed in them. A restless soul, he longed for adventure beyond the mundane life of the village. When he turned 20, he resolved to uncover the truth about the never-ending trail. Armed with supplies, a sturdy walking stick, and an unshakable resolve, he set off at dawn. As he ventured into the forest, the path was deceptively welcoming. Birds sang sweet melodies, sunlight streamed through the canopy, and a gentle breeze carried the scent of wildflowers. Elias pressed forward, his confidence unwavering. However, as he walked, a peculiar thing happened. No matter how far he went, the scenery remained unchanged. The same twisted oak tree, the same moss-covered rock, the same fallen log. Hours passed, then an entire day, yet Elias seemed no closer to finding an end. Frustration gnawed at him, but he refused to turn back. "It's just my imagination," he muttered. "The trail can't be endless." On the second day, exhaustion set in, his supplies dwindled, and the once charming forest began to feel oppressive. Shadows stretched ominously, and eerie whispers filled the air. Elias couldn't tell if they were real or a trick of his mind. Doubt crept in, but still, he pressed on. By the third day, hunger and fatigue overwhelmed him. His once steady pace had slowed to a weary trudge. He had begun to question himself. Was the legend true? Was he doomed to wander forever? He collapsed near a stream, cupping his hands to drink the cool water. As he did, he noticed something unusual, a carving on a nearby tree. Curious, he stumbled toward it. The engraving was simple yet profound. "The path is not endless, the journey is within." Elias stared at the words, their meaning eluding him at first, but as he reflected, realization dawned upon him. He had been so fixated on proving the legend wrong, so determined to forge ahead, that he never once considered retracing his steps. The trail wasn't trapping him, he was trapping himself. With renewed clarity, Elias turned around and walked back the way he had come. To his astonishment, the landscape changed. The trees no longer repeated, and soon, familiar landmarks from the village outskirts came into view. Before he knew it, he was back where he had started. The villagers were astonished. "How did you escape?" they asked. Elias smiled and replied, "The trail was never endless. It was my own stubbornness that kept me trapped." From that day on, he became a wiser man, teaching others that sometimes, the way forward isn't about pushing ahead blindly but knowing when to step back and rethink years past. And Elias became a respected figure in the village. His tale of the never-ending trail became a lesson for the young and old alike. However, deep down, a lingering curiosity remained within him. If the trail had taught him such a valuable lesson, could there be more wisdom hidden within its depths? The moral of his journey was clear: the greatest obstacles are often those we create for ourselves.